What up, y'all?
What's up, y'all?
It's another day, another dollar.
Just kidding, I don't say y'all.
Fun video today. We are working on framing out the deck.
D-E-C-K.
Yeah.
Deck with an E.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so we went to Home Depot. $500 on lumber. No, $415 on lumber.
$350.
$350 on supports, nail, brackets. Gotta start pulling out some lumber. Yeah, get to moving. All right, y'all. So the shopping list to do the framing was we bought 4 2x6 by 20 foot pieces of lumber, 19 2x6 by 16s, technically 1 6x6 by 6. We had scrap wood here at the house, and then we bought 3 2x6 by 10s, which we used for scabbing in between. Then we needed some galvanized nails and 68 joist supports for the deck ties. All that came out to $765.
So right now what the GC is doing is trying to find the straightest board that we have, because this is going to be our main support and we want to make sure that the deck is nice and level. And the other thing he's looking for is the bow. So think of a rainbow. The little arch on a rainbow, you want to go up towards the sky, because eventually that will flatten out. So try to find the arch and put it up towards the sky. Now that we found the piece that we wanted to use, we are now trying to find level. So we put a big long level on there, and we're just raising one side up until the bubbles are in between the lines on the level. So that's showing us that it's nice and level. From there, we did want this to be off the ground entirely, just to help with rot and for rain and snow. So we eventually did raise the right side as well, but then had to raise the left side even more because the concrete slab is definitely not level. So that's the thing we wanted to do first. Now that we know how we want to level this on the wall, we're now going to mark where we want our joist to be. So we did 14 inches on center, and I'm just going by and making a nice straight line using a speed square, just so that it's easy for us to find later on, and that will be what we'll want to do for this board all the way down. Now that we know where the joists are going to be, we want to make sure we are putting the concrete screws into the building, or into the house, I guess, away from those joists, so that we'll be able to nail those in. So we're just marking right outside those marks that I just did to make sure that we are out of the way of the joist. And then Wayne is going ahead and drilling in holes so we know where to drill into the house to be able to add those concrete screws. Then we put that wood piece back up, make sure it's level again, and we're going to go ahead and use that hammer drill to make holes into our house, and then use concrete screws to secure it. Then we went ahead and did the same exact step for the south facing part of the deck. So we went ahead and hammer drilled into the house. We're going to add concrete screws to make sure that's nice and secure. So we did make sure everything was level as well, and we're just going to go ahead and attach this. For the last 2 walls of the frame here, we did do the same thing. So we made sure everything was level. We used pieces of wood to get it level and have it propped up. And then we just went ahead and used a nail gun to attach it to the sides. And then the one on that far side over there is actually where we added a joist and attached it with a joist, just to make it extra sturdy there.
Alrighty, so what we did for the framing of this is we laid out this first 2x6 by 20 that Ron and Milani are nailing into. Then you'll see behind them there's another board that's actually another 20-foot 2x6. That's our middle support for the deck. It runs the whole length of it, just because it was a very long piece of wood, obviously. So we wanted to provide some middle structure there, as well as we're going to double frame the outside. So what we did is we nailed here, and then we're going to go back later and end up adding those deck ties to be the true structural support for the framing.
And just for you to know, you do have to make this face when you're looking for a bow in a piece of wood. That's mandatory, so you have to. And if you're worried that we're only nailing this frame, We're not. We are just using this so that it can stay in place while we add the joists, and also so that it stays level. So that was kind of our hack. We didn't necessarily use the nails for structure. We had a little bit of a system here, so as Wayne was cutting the pieces, he would set them where we needed them, and then the GC and I would be nailing them in where they needed to be so that they can stay in place while we add the joists.
So while we were running a smooth operation, this here was one of our only hiccups. We forgot to cut this board because we had a gap where our water pipe comes out of the house. So we ended up attaching that other 20-foot 2x6 to the end of it, which put us about 4 inches off, which was our gap. So this was us hand fixing it because it was later at night.
Day one,
Day one, 4 hours later.
9:30.
9:30. We stopped the loud noise at like 8:45. Good news, we only messed up once. Easily fixable. Better news is we were square. First try, we were square. So tomorrow, all there's left to do is get our joist
The other side.
on the other side. And then we
Supports.
get our 6x6 supports, as well as our deck ties, and then the frame is done.
But yeah, back at it tomorrow.
Peace.
Next day, we're back at it, cutting some pieces for the rest of these joists. So, yay! All right, another little hack here is we took a 2x4 and we went ahead and nailed it into the actual joist. So the reason why we did this is because it's keeping it nice and flush with our already leveled supports that we have into the house. So we leveled those out to make sure everything else is level, but we need to make sure that this stays up so that we can actually add those joist supports on there and make it a little bit easier for us. So you can see it's off the ground, it's where it needs to be. So all we need to do is nail in that actual joist support. So you can see here, he's adding that in, and then it will be nice and sturdy and in place. And then we'll just remove that 2x4. Now it was time to add those deck ties, and let me tell you, if you ever need a hamstring workout, this is for you. So we nailed in a total of 544 nails. So there was 8 nails in each deck tie, and we did 68 deck ties. That was a long day of just nailing and bending over. My hamstrings, I can't tell you how sore they were. And it took us pretty much all day to add these in. But we got really, really good at nailing things in though. So we got our skill set up a little bit more, which is nice. I also forgot to mention that we did add deck ties on each side so that far side we added deck ties on every wood piece. Then we added it to the centerpiece, then to the wood pieces closest to us, which is the centerpiece, and then the piece that you can't see. So yeah, we added deck ties on every single one. Yeah, how has your contractors?
Very hard.
Nice.
Very hard.
Who would you think
They
is
can
better at
swing a
nailing?
hammer now. I mean, you should have seen them do. Well, you might be on the video. You see how they were hanging the first
To the end?
joist hangers to the end hangers. Yeah,
We've improved.
yeah. And then they worked as a team.
What would you say is our weakest skill?
Drywall.
Depends on what you're doing.
For the deck specifically.
The deck specific. I don't know. There's not much to it. Just hammering and nailing, measuring and cutting.
So we're good.
You guys can cut, you can hammer, you can lay concrete, you got it.
Now we're going and using that 6x6x6 post that we already had, and we're cutting them so that we can use that as our main support for the deck. Now you can use wood, or you could use those concrete supports that they have at the hardware store. Totally up to you. We just had this available. So we also took those posts and we added concrete screws into the concrete with some brackets to make sure that they stay in place. We also framed in the post just to add even more support. And what you see here is us nailing in that last piece of scabbing. It pretty much just is in the middle of each board or each half that we have of the deck, and it's just to add extra support. And here's our finished frame. We still have to sand, paint it, seal it, so we still have a little bit to go.
All right, what's up, y'all? As you can see, we got the cooler loaded. Today, we're gonna probably just sand and then seal the framing of the deck. Exciting day, ready to get started. Let's see how it goes. Let me give you a little more context what we're doing. So what we're gonna do to prepare the deck is we're gonna sand it and then seal it. So that way we can protect the wood, obviously make it last for years to come. And that's just tonight. We're gonna paint the tops of our joist so that way they can match a little bit, because there's going to be a 3/16 gap between the deck boards, which is what calls for from the manufacturer. But yeah, so that's the goal today. Not fun work, but it's got to be done. Giving me flashbacks to the kitchen ceiling where we just sand and our shoulders fall off. Only like, that is all the outside, all the tops, all the scabs. Your boy's already tired. Milani said a long time ago, I'll be out here in a little bit. She's probably conveniently watching through the window to be like, when's it look like he's almost done, and then I'll come over. I'm just kidding. She's a great workmate, but daggum, the back and the hammies are gonna need a break again, that's for sure. So we're gonna get some more Gatorade in us, take a break, and then get back to it. Cheers.
That someone was talking crap. I'm finally out here. Some of us had to work today, so I'm done working, and he's sanding, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some silicone around the bottom of the things that are touching the ground to hopefully waterproof it a little bit more so that the water doesn't just sit underneath the wood posts that we have. So hopefully keep them from rotting too much. So yeah, do that, and then we'll start spraying it down.
Now I'm just going and wiping everything down with a damp cloth to get all of that sanded wood off of there. So any dust that's on there that could make the paint not stick, I'm just taking that off so that we can go ahead and put the sealant on there. Look who's slacking on the job. Slacking. Alright, so obviously Wayne got a lot of work done while I was working today. I have a little bit of energy tonight. It is currently 9:05. Since painting doesn't make any noise, I'm going to try to get some paint done while I have some energy. So yeah, Wayne can't be saying that I don't do anything. Just kidding. I'm gonna jam out, do some painting, you know, very therapeutic. Hair's looking good. All right, so it has been an hour now and I've only gotten halfway through, but my back is killing me. So I think I'm gonna call it a night. We just have one last half left. This is just the sealed waterproof coat that we're putting on the inside, and then we're gonna be painting the tops and the outer border the same color as the actual boards that we're putting on top, so the deck boards. So this is just to waterproof the inside. It's one of those things where you can't see the difference and it's not like super rewarding, so it's really hard to just make yourself do it. But yeah, so halfway through, have a little bit left. That took me an hour to do half of it, so maybe an hour in the morning and we can get it done. Right there. That's where I finished. We have the rest of that to go. Good morning. Guess who's ready to work and guess who's not ready to work?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to tell you I'm about to finish my coffee.
All right, so that's fair. I'm going to try to, crazy hair. They can stay out here. I'm gonna try to finish off what I started last night, so I just have half left. Half of it is covered in the shade, so I'm gonna try to do that first. But yeah, so we're gonna do that.
Someone's getting after it with their headphones on. And nah, she ain't acting for the camera. That's how she gets down.
What did you say?
I said you look beautiful,
No,
and I love you so much.
What did you say?
That's what I said. I said that's how you get down. How's your coffee? You don't mean that. I'll never make it again.
You're gonna make fun of me.
I gave you a compliment.
What'd you say?
I said, look at her jamming. This is how she actually gets down. It's not just for the camera. Am I wrong?
Okay, fair enough.
I know. Hey, great job. I'm gonna go grab a paintbrush.
No, you got the rollers.
Nah,
You bought the rollers.
I know I did. Okay, I forgot.
Okay.
We're both right in this instance.
Okay, bye.
Okay, love you.
Love you. 3 hours later, done with the clear coat. So yeah, took me a lot longer than I wanted it to, but Wayne is just doing the last thing of the brown, and we'll let it dry and we should be good to start putting the deck boards on. So we're really terrible and didn't get an after we painted it, but it pretty much just looks like this. There's just a brown paint color on the very tops of each wood piece so that we can't see it underneath the decking. But the framing is done, and then we're gonna get into decking on next week's video.